Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing my out-of-box review for the SD BB Senshi Legend BB Knight Superior Dragon Gundam. Now, as I said in the unboxing, this is a really cool kit, I think, and definitely deserving of that number 400 spot in the BB Senshi line. Now, I've built, I think, probably like 3 out of the 400, so I really am not like the best person to judge like what was really kind of like the best thing to be befitting the number 400 spot. But for me, I think this looks really special. I mean, as you can see, obviously, it's a very shiny kit. All that shiny plated gold, and again, I think that's a really nice color of plated gold. It's a little bit more orangish color. The red is shiny, then we do have some silver accents there on the ends of the wings as well. Our swords are going to be in silver as well. I'll show you that when we talk about the accessories and stuff. But overall, this is a very sort of decorative kit, I think, and so I think that's fitting for the number 400 in that line. So let's take a look around here. You'll see that gold is going to be all around on the Gundam. The backpack is going to be mostly red. There is a little bit of gold here on the backpack, you'll see as well as that's coming around. With some just plain gray in there as well, which I think is kind of cool. Fitting to just throw in like a little bit of just like a plain neutral, not shiny color in there as well, just there on the backpack, and you can see that dragon's tail coming out of the back as well. This kit, again, does have a kind of transformation, so we'll take a look at that coming up here in just a few moments. And just want to say a big thank you to MindFenix Hobby Store for sending me this kit to share with you guys. Again, as you guys may know, I'm not really the biggest person when it comes to like SD. I'm not really too into SD stuff, but there are some that come out that you know, I'm always kind of pleasantly surprised when I check out an SD kit and I end up finding out that it's really pretty cool. So I think there's a lot to like about this kit. It does have a little bit higher price tag. I think it's probably one of the more expensive SD kits out there, 2,500 yen. Mostly due to that plating, I would imagine, and just the high gloss on the red plastic as well. All of that just adds to the cost of the kit, unfortunately. But again, I think if you're a fan of SD kits, and especially like these Legend BB kits, then I think this is definitely one that you're not going to want to pass up. So I will also say, of course, this is going to be a magnet for fingerprints. The red is okay. You're not really going to see them too much on there, even though it is really glossy red. But the gold, of course, anytime you touch that, you're going to be leaving fingerprints on there. So I would recommend building this and maybe like posing it while wearing gloves or something. Or, I mean, you can wipe off the fingerprints just with tissue or a Q-tip or whatever you want. It works perfectly fine. But just to save yourself from doing that, what I did, I didn't wear gloves as I was assembling it. I just assembled and just kind of like wiped off as I was going. And then like just leading up to just kind of putting in this pose to start doing this review. I didn't clean it up totally, but I think hopefully you're not seeing too much of that on camera. But in person you are going to see that when you're looking at it up close. So the reason I was mentioning that is just that I want to show you guys about the articulation, but at the same time I don't want to touch it too much, get it too dirty. Well, here I'll give you guys just a close-up view at that here. I'm finding this leg keeps coming off. Just the polycaps in here don't seem to want to stick all that well. I'm not sure if that's just because of the extra gold like coating here that's up inside that polycap joint. It just makes it a little bit harder for the polycaps to stick in there, but I've had similar problems with other SD kits before, so I think it's just kind of an SD thing. The polycaps connection is not really the strongest on them, I think. Of course, for the eyes, you are going to have some different options here. You can like take off the top of the head. I took off the whole head, let's see. Take off the top of the head, and here's like the base head inside, and you can take off this top part, which is the top of the helmet. There we go. And then we have this piece here, which you're going to be able to flip around to change just a different set of eyes. And then we have a whole other piece as well, which you can have a different set of eyes. So we have straight eyes, looking left, looking right, and then on the other side of this one is these happy eyes. So you have different options for what you want to do. I'm just going to keep just the standard straight looking ones here for my review. And always cool that you have that option with these kits. So that head just goes back together like so. And you can just pop that back on there. So most of the articulation is going to be pretty standard SD articulation. Everything's just on ball joints. It's going to move around pretty okay, but as you can see, you're just going to have stuff kind of falling off. I'll leave that off for the time being. In the waist, you're going to have a little bit of movement there, but again, not too much. The backpack is cool, so I do want to talk about that. This whole part of the backpack is there on a ball joint, so you have this whole section here. Just going to plug onto there, so that can move around on that ball joint, and then the wing itself is on a ball joint as well on top of that, so that can move around, and that is going to rotate here a little bit as well. So the wings and this whole bit of the backpack is all really nicely articulated. That can move around nicely. The tail is basically two sections. So the base of the tail is on a ball joint there, and then the second part is on a ball joint. You can turn that around however you want, up or down like that, and it definitely kind of helps the balance of it with this backpack on there. These parts here on the top of the shoulders are like extra little dragon heads that in the transformation will turn forward like that. You can see, and then the mouth on them opens up like that, so that's kind of cool. Definitely adds a huge bit onto the shoulders there. But that is basically just the kind of gist of the articulation. Now for the accessories, we do have this this clear orange base, which we can use. We can adjust the angle here at the top to a couple different settings. Not really a whole lot of options for that, but it should work at least just to do what you need it to do. Then we have the shield, which is just this dragon head shield. And just we have the stickers there for the eyes. I didn't mention about the stickers. The only stickers that you're seeing on this kit are for the eyes. Nothing else here is stickers. Everything else is parts, red and gold parts on there. So that's really nice, I think. Here on the dragon's head, the stickers are then just there for the eyes. And then just gold piece there, gold piece here, and then the mouth on this one opens as well. And that's what the mouth's going to look like there. On the back side, we just have this plain gray part there for the handle. That's just going to drop down into the hand. We have the pegs here, which are going to drop into like the face for the transformation. You're going to look at that in a moment. For the swords, we have two of these. These are just attached onto the side skirts. You see on the side skirts, there's this small red part there. This connection is not really very strong, unfortunately, but it goes up into there and it holds, but it's not really all that strong. The sword actually is here, comes out from that part, and then it's got this gold part there at the handle. So again, pretty nice design. When you want to put this in the hand, you just drop this down into the hand and then just reconnect this part there around that for the handle. So that's pretty cool, and then just again fits inside there like so, and then we can just connect this up onto this side skirt. And then other parts for the transformation are these dragon claws. We have two for the back, which are going to look like this. These are just going to fit over the feet. We're going to turn the feet around, and those have like gold there and then silver for the claws. And the front claws are basically similar, gold and silver, but then here on the bottom, that is a sticker. The only other stickers we have for this kit is this gold sticker on the bottom of the claws that will replace the hands. So let me just get this up on an action base first to just show you how it's going to look. So once you get everything all loaded up here on it, and you get a little bit of the balancing act, trying to get none of the limbs to fall out, trying to keep those swords on, like I said, there are some parts where it is a little bit unstable, but you know, it just takes a few minutes. But then once you get it on there, it should be fine, and again, it's going to look just really, really nice, all that stuff, even with all that stuff now loaded on, the swords and the shield on. It's just going to add to that look of it being just really kind of very, I don't know, very impressive, I think, for being such a small, cute little kit. So I think that is definitely really cool. As far as any complaints that I have about this kit, not really too much. One thing that I was worried about that I mentioned in the unboxing was nub marks on the gold. Of course, there are going to be some, but I think as hopefully you've seen so far, they're really not all that noticeable. There's a couple, I mean, when you look really close in some areas, you can see just little tiny nub marks, and that's really going to be unavoidable on a kit like this unless they undergated it, which I really don't understand why they didn't undergate it, but unfortunately they didn't, so we just have to deal with that. I think it's just because the way that SD kits gates are designed. The gates on SD kits are designed a little bit differently from other kits, where they're just there's not really much of a gate in between. It's just like the tree and then a really tiny connection point and then the part. And that's meant to be able to make the parts to break away from the tree much more easier, like for just being able to snap them off the tree without using nippers, which is, I mean, good for kids, I guess, but ultimately it's not really kind of the best thing. And especially in this case, when you have kits that are plated, you can't undergate them in that style of gating. So now let's talk about another thing that we can do with the weapons, and then we'll talk about the transformation here. If I can get this shield out of the hand, or we'll just take that entirely off, that'll be okay for the time being. What I want to do is take apart the shield a bit. So just going to remove this top and bottom piece and remove that hand. We won't be needing that on there. There we go. Then we can remove the swords, and you'll see at the end of the swords there's pegs on the left and right side. Those will actually allow you to peg these into here. One on the left, one on the right. Plug this handle on here once again. And then we've got this very large bow weapon here, or kind of whatever this is supposed to be. Whatever it is, whatever it's supposed to be. And then we can put this back in the hand, like so. And then you've got this big, huge, long weapon for the kit. Looking pretty cool. I think if you didn't want to have it holding the two swords or mounted the two swords, if you wanted to have some sort of more special weapon for that, the unfortunate thing now is that you don't have the dragon head part. You can then put that on the face and have it have the dragon face. It sort of looks like, if you look closely, it looks like the dragon head should be able to attach into the chest as well, because see the Vulcans on the head is where the dragon head plugs in. But on the chest, they almost line up exactly, but it doesn't quite fit there on the chest exactly the same. I think you could maybe force it, but anyway, that's something that you can do with the weapon. But to do the transformation, let's take this back out again. Basically, here on the kit, we're going to take off these hands and just replace them with the dragon claw hands. I guess probably technically those are supposed to just switch around within the arm or something. And then for the feet, all we're going to do is just slide these claws onto the toes here. I'm trying to get a good grip on this. Those will just slide onto the toes of the Gundam. And then that's what... here's what the foot is going to look like then with that attached onto there. It looks kind of cool. Then for the shoulders, as I mentioned before, we're just going to bring those forward, kind of open the dragon mouths there on these heads, like so. There's that. And then for the face, again, as I said, the shield will just plug into the Vulcans. We can open that mouth as well. And there we go. I think that's everything. That is our dragon form for this kit. So I think, as I said in the unboxing, I'm not really one of those who's too into kind of dragon stuff or knight kind of stuff. I don't know, like Game of Thrones, Skyrim, all that kind of things like that is not really too much of interest to me, particularly. So this dragon form is kind of a cool thing that's built into the kit, and if you're into it, then that's cool. But this is probably the only time that I'll ever transform my kit into this form. I think it looks cool just in the Gundam form, and it shows off a lot more of the gold. I think here we're like covering up the face and chest quite a bit there with that dragon head. It just kind of takes away, I think, from the awesomeness of just how good the kit looks without that big dragon's face on its face. Just for a comparison here, I've got the SD BB Senshi Legend BB Versal Knight Gundam. This was number 399, so the previous kit to this one. And this one was 1,500 yen, this one's 2,500 yen, so definitely going to be some differences there. This one, the Versal Knight, has a lot more stickers, it has a lot less parts that are actually plated. It doesn't come with an action base, or kind of whatever base you want to call this. It doesn't come with a base at all. So there is definitely going to be a big difference, I think, in quality. The Versal Knight may be your cup of tea more than the Knight Superior Dragon. But I think if you want like a really nice quality, like just display SD kit, the Knight Superior Dragon is definitely going to be the way to go here. So with that is going to do it for my review of the SD BB Senshi Legend BB Knight Superior Dragon Gundam number 400 in the BB Senshi line. I definitely recommend this kit. I think you may have been able to tell that if you stuck around throughout this a little bit lengthy review for such a small, simple kit, but obviously there was a little bit more to talk about with this kit, with the transformation and all of that. And I like it, so I thought it was deserving of a little bit more say. Of course, there are still going to be some regular things you would expect for an SD kit, like some seam lines there on some parts on the backpack, but not really going to be anything too much of a big deal. I think if you're buying this kit, you're probably going to keep it just like this, as just kind of a display piece. If you're buying this and wanting to like strip that gold and repaint everything and all of that, obviously going to be in for a little bit more work, just usual for an SD. A lot of mold lines, a lot of seam lines in some areas, and just a little bit more work, I'd say. But this makes a great piece, I think, probably just out of box. So if you're not looking to do all that extra work and you're just looking for something cool and cute at the same time to put on your shelf, then this is definitely one that you might want to check out. So thank you guys for watching. If you do have any other questions or comments about this kit, leave those down below. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. Again, I'm really not too well versed when it comes to SD stuff, so if there's something else that I missed that you guys are interested in knowing about this kit, if you're a big fan of SDs and I missed something, please do let me know and I'll try to be able to work that in next time. So thanks guys, see you next time, bye bye.